Alright, let's kick this episode off by talking about CJ Stroud, who is having just a tremendous rookie season this year for the Houston Texans. Coming into the season, I didn't really have super high expectations for CJ Stroud. I was a big fan of him coming into the 2023 NFL Draft. I know I had him as my QB3, and if you've watched my draft coverage the last year, you know that I was a huge fan of Anthony Richardson and Bryce Young, but I still liked him a lot. And me and my friend Thomas, who comes on the podcast sometimes, we were both big fans of CJ Stroud. However, I did have some concerns about his game. I wished that he used his legs more in college. I didn't love the way that he performed under pressure during his final season at Ohio State, and so I thought that there were legitimate concerns with his game that put a cap on his ceiling, but with the way that he is performing right now, those concerns have gone out the window. He's using his legs more in the NFL, maybe not necessarily as a runner, but I feel like he's been more mobile this year as a passer outside of structure than he was in college. I've also loved the way that he's pushing the ball downfield with confidence. His ability to throw with anticipation is really impressive. That's something that Brett Coleman, someone who's really popular in the football nerd space, he's a guy who makes these film breakdowns. He made a film breakdown for CJ Stroud a few months ago. And Stroud's ability to throw with anticipation is something that Coleman noted in his video, and that's something that I think is very obvious when you watch him play. And the numbers themselves have been really impressive. He's at the top of the league in passing yards. The counting stats are really good. He's also been very efficient in terms of yards per pass attempt and adjusted net yards per pass attempt. Now, if you don't know what adjusted net yards per pass attempt is, that is a stat that is a measure of a quarterback's passing efficiency. It's kind of like passer rating, but it looks at yards per pass attempt, completion percentage, touchdown rate, interception rate, and sack rate. Its inclusion of sack rate makes it different than passer rating. That's something that passer rating does not include. And I like this stat. I think it's pretty good. It's not perfect. It doesn't include rushing. It doesn't include penalties. It doesn't include those kind of things. But overall, it's a pretty solid passing stat. And it can be influenced by a quarterback's, scheme and their teammates, their coaching. But overall, it's a very solid metric. And it's good if you use it properly and you understand the context of a quarterback situation. And when you look at adjusted net yards per attempt, CJ Stroud has one of the best marks in the entire league in terms of that stat. So he has been remarkably efficient and productive as a passer this year. And at the moment, he ranks top 10 in PFF grade, which is really impressive. That's not normal for a rookie quarterback. And when you look at the way that he is performing and compare it to, other rookie quarterbacks throughout NFL history, it's clear that he is having a historic rookie season. A few weeks ago, I looked at his numbers, and I looked at his adjusted net yards per pass attempt, and I compared it to some of the best rookie quarterback seasons we've ever seen. And it was, close to guys like Dan Marino, Justin Herbert, Robert Griffin III. So, and I believe it's a top 10 mark by a rookie quarterback in NFL history, which is really impressive. I also looked at, where his PFF grade ranks in comparison to, some of the best rookie seasons we've seen in recent memory. And his PFF grade is very similar to Joe Burrow's, Justin Herbert, Mac Jones. It's a little bit behind Baker Mayfield, who had a really strong rookie season in 2018. But it's awesome. Like, his PFF grade is higher than Kyler Murray's. So he's having a strong rookie season by, no matter what metric you're looking at, he's having a historic rookie season. And then his more advanced metrics, like EPA per play, are really good. CPOE, completion percentage above expected, he's pretty good there as well. So, like, his numbers across the board are really, really good. And it's not just him that's playing well. He's been great individually, but the impact that he has had on the Texans' offense has also been very apparent. Their offensive efficiency has been really good. They've been performing well, especially in terms of like EPA per dropback and passing success rate, which is really great to see. And I just think that he's been playing really well. He's had a great impact on the Texans' offense. The Texans' offense has been way better than I anticipated. I did not think that they had the supporting cast to be really good with CJ Stroud year one, but obviously that has not been the case. I've been really impressed with Nico Collins and Tank Dell. Those guys have been playing really well, and of course Stroud has been balling out. Now, this brings up a good question. Is he a legitimate MVP candidate? In my opinion, he's not quite, and that's not because I don't think he's been great. I do. He's been awesome. But I have a pretty high bar when it comes to MVP candidates. I believe that guys like Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, those guys are legitimate MVP candidates. And in my opinion, Stroud is just not performing at that level. And I know a lot of people will look at the way that the Texans are performing and the fact that they are overperforming expectations and will say, hey, this is good evidence that Stroud should, be in the MVP conversation. And if that's how you feel, I understand and I get that. And I think that's fair. But for me, that's just not how I evaluate the MVP candidates. It's not how I would stack up an MVP case for any player. I just personally don't care about a team's record. I will look at the way that a team is performing offensively when I evaluate the quarterbacks in their MVP case, but I care more about a individual quarterback's production rather than their team's record. So, yeah, I don't think that Stroud is a legitimate MVP candidate at this point. Maybe that could change as the season progresses. We still got a lot of football left. But yeah, for now, I don't think he's quite an MVP candidate, but he's getting there. He's playing at a very high level, and there is a chance that he gets into that conversation in a few weeks.